Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Phosphorus Podcast after somewhat of a hiatus.
Big time.
We are excited to be back and excited to be sharing the new format, which these smaller segments released more frequently. So this week, we've got a lot to talk about.
We have a lot. What episode is this?
11.
11?
11.
11?
This is 11.
11.
11.
11. Oh, yeah.
UFOs.
Yeah. Crazy. UFOs, man. The long life dream coming closer.
I think we've got to have a bit of a disclosure here that we're kind of bandwagoning on this a little bit because we're coming off the back of two mainstream UFO docu-series kind of format shows. Released a few days ago, and so it looks like kind of we're jumping on the bandwagon. But
we are from the 90s, so
fair.
We lived the 90s. I think 90s was the time where all these even plushy little alien toys start coming out. You know, there was no Toy Story with an alien before that time. Like, you know, the introduction of aliens.
What year was E.T.? Not
E.T. was very, very early 80s, I think.
Like early 80s? No.
Late 80s?
Late 80s.
Really? Was it before or after Star Wars?
Oh, dude, no. It was way after Star Wars. No?
Yeah. So then they have the technology to shoot movies like that. Probably like mid 80s? Because I think my parents watched it.
Yeah.
Like a little bit. I don't think I ever sat down and watched the E.T. myself.
Wow.
When was it?
1982. Sorry, you're right. I owe you an apology.
Yeah. I don't think I watched it. We were like a little bit too old for that. You know, but it's crazy. You could say
it started then. Like you said, the 90s. Yeah. The 90s is definitely in full swing. But then you had like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. What other one?
Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Is that the Mila Jovovich movie?
That one, yeah. Fire in the Sky was later
that was
on
like
in the
15
90s.
years ago.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. But like they stopped riding that trend for some reason, right? I don't know why. It's like, oh, okay, so we know about aliens now. Let go. Like,
well, you know what's interesting about that though is that if you think back, you know, you remember hearing about how it was like this crackpot science. You know, it wasn't really considered scientific study. Should we put money into it? Should we not?
Yeah.
But then you think too, like we were so much more excited, or we had sustained excitement and interest due to whatever, with far less material, because we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have the means of recording, that not to mention publishing immediately or even streaming content. So, I mean, when I think of that and I put it in perspective, and you're going to back up a little bit, I think, wow, especially now, like there's so much has happened in the past 12 months that people, I mean, we've got a pandemic raging as well, but people, you know, were exposed to that. I think
it's just skimming through the news, man. This shit is always happening. Like there's an improvement, there's a mass improvement going on behind the scenes. Not in secret. If you just, like we were talking about it, right? If you want to get to that information, then you have to go down that path and go find it, because the information and the news is there. It's just if you're interested in it or not. That's why the regular news you watch is the agenda that is picked for this upcoming week, year, month, whatever.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, it's not even the mind manipulation. It's like, hey guys, you're watching this service that we provide. If you're watching our service, and then here you go. This is our agenda. We're going to talk about these news, like how we are choosing UFO and not talking about bread making. Somebody's interested in bread making, and there is a massive improvement in that industry.
I don't do the editorial, you know, directors, board directors, and whatnot make decisions in media. It happens. It's documented. It's not talked about as much as it should be. But my point is that what you're saying, you decide what goes in, what doesn't. But my point is,
it's not just that
just enforces my point, because we had far less in the 90s. Hell, in the 80s,
they were just
video evidence, and
all the
eyewitness
UFOs
accounts and stuff. Maybe not eyewitness accounts, but video evidence for sure.
Dude, in 1990s, I'll give you a random fucking number here. Actually, I want you to guess.
Go.
How many sightings you think in 1990?
In 1 year? Or a decade?
Like, let's say from 1990 to 1991. I think it's the year. The number was from the year. It's not from the decade. Because after those years, there are different type of sighting numbers. But these are like
we'll remember that when the number comes up too. Okay.
Yeah.
So in 1 year, I'd say Worldwide.
Yeah, worldwide.
Who collects that number?
I don't know. I think it's just reported cases. That's how they go with it. The reported cases. Probably there are a lot of unreported ones.
You go through like every government's or
I don't think. Yeah, probably you have to go through the news services and what people are putting pictures or videos and stuff like that.
Okay, so reported.
Yeah, reported ones.
Media notable.
Yes.
3,000.
You got the 3 right, but it's 319.
319. Wow.
Yeah. Guess how many in 2014?
3,000.
No, I think it's around 8,250 something. And now guess last year, 2020, how many?
Oh, wait. So that was 2014.
Yeah.
Okay. 30,000.
No, lower than that. It's like 7,265 or something like that. So it's another year of increase in UFO sightings, reported UFO sightings. All right. It's not like, hey, I go to this country, I was traveling and I saw this. Wow. Like you have this is happening. And for Pentagon, for some reason, they decide to release it. And I was reading about it. There's a guy called Nick Pope. I think he's a ex-investigator, UFO investigator, working for the Ministry of Defense of UK. And he kind of gives his view to say, like, we might never ever know about why Pentagon has done a complete U-turn on a phenomenon that they have denied viciously for the last couple decades. Like,
and that's what I mean when I say the last year. Yeah. What's happened in the last year. And then you think back, like go back to, the 90s and you think we were not as excited, but we had sustained excitement. Like you kept it alive through far less content. And now we've all this stuff coming out and all this new technology and widespread use of it that the Pentagon came out and said, not comparable, so that's not connected, but the Pentagon, the awesome thing to me was that the Pentagon did come out and say, hey, UFOs.
Yeah, they're like, oh, eat on this now. Go ahead. I think in 1990, like we had some toaster type of cameras, man. It was so hard to prove like what you saw. Even nowadays, because it's a certain distance away from us, right? Even with all our amazing, fantastic camera technology, we still can't get a very clear, like 4K view of a footage of a unknown flying object. Yeah. Which fuck knows what it is, which I have some ideas what it is, but probably the army knows better than me. But the question is, you have this, you just don't let people know. Or you just don't pay too much attention on it through the society
side. But imagine being that general, right, that gets this conclusive best guy in your platoon firsthand knowledge eyewitness account. Yeah. Trust him with your life kind of guy. And he says, yeah, I've saw it. 6 other guys saw it. You're the general that says,
conceal it.
What do I do with this? Yeah. Imagine having to make that decision.
You call your boss.
Yeah,
you call your boss. You're the general.
You're the general, mind you.
It's about the country because it's not just about the foreign object.
But my point is, if you have conclusive evidence of it, do you knowing that this is conclusive evidence and you present it, you're going to change the course of history forever. Yeah. That's an immense decision to have. And I would not be hesitant to say that I believe there have been a couple of people that said, you know what, no, nobody can see this. I can't be the person to do that.
I mean, look, like how they make these decisions is big. We were watching this 9/11 documentary the other day by this journalist guy. And they are showing not a behind the scenes, but one of the shots where they go to George Bush's little farmhouse where they have this gathering. And this one guy, what's his name? I don't remember. Fuck it, names are not important anyway. So one guy approaches him and starts speaking in his ear about going to Afghanistan instead of Iraq. It's like, hey guys, like if we attack Iraq, it's not going to have this impact. Let's go to Afghanistan instead. Right. So this kind of things happen behind the scenes in meetings, especially something massive like 9/11. I think for a general like that, this guy would receive reports like this every week. Because these guys are conducting a lot of tactical, strategical flights and they're traveling around the world.
Yeah,
they
true.
definitely
Credit to
see
them.
some.
Credit to them. There's got to
But
be some that come in
I understand.
outright false.
I understand your point, though. Like, are you able to come forward that because for you, maybe it's important, right? You're like, hey, everybody should know about this information. Then you look at the dumbasses that live on this world and the half simple Pete's.
Yeah.
Or very smart people, or even dangerous people with lots of intelligence, man. Like, there are lots of sorts of people there. And you just openly give this information without letting it pass through, let's say, a committee, an institution, how it's going to affect people's minds. How about the public approval rates? Are they going to be positive to it or negative to it? Call the advertisement department. How are we going to sell it? Shitloads of things going on behind the scenes. And I'm pretty sure somebody already knows it before that general finds out about it. They have like all of their little trackers.
And then you might get leaks and whatnot. But if the general with his credibility is what I mean, or her credibility.
I mean, they're allowed to come forward now.
Yeah. If they came out, like, imagine it being your job.
Yeah.
And you're active, you're the general.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
it can end with you or it can start with you.
But your job at that point is not to report it to the public. You go report it to your higher ups.
That's my question. Why make it that complicated? Why not just say no?
I mean, the thing is this. Look, Cory. They say another variant of COVID is out. People lock their doors and hide inside. Why? The media has been reporting on this nonstop. 1 case, 2 case, 3 case, million case, 1,000 case, this many died, these are dying, this happening, no vaccine, yes vaccine, get vaccine, this do it. People are like dumbfucked. Then imagine you bring these people, an unknown alien source that comes from the air that they believe nothing can fall down from that air.
Yeah.
And now they're like, hold on a minute.
The world would go
there's an alien there, and then like, what they're gonna do? They're gonna freak out.
The world would go crazy, and I say that's no laughing matter.
That's why, like,
we were talking about this the other night, right?
True.
And you said, if something like that happened, right? Imagine the day that something like that happened.
Yeah.
And you just learn about it, and however, maybe firsthand, but you see it on the news. It's all over Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, everything, and you're just like, holy shit. You know what I mean? You're just like, holy shit. Like the world is going to be a completely different place.
Every time I think about something like that, I just have one scene in my eyes.
Go.
And that's Randy from South Park getting anal probed by the aliens. I'm like, fuck, no. Like, no. The question is, you watch that, what is that? The report of the third kind, or like what was the name of that movie with the
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind. They are talking about abductions, usually happening in the United States.
Yeah.
And then people are screaming about Area 51 and about what happened in Roosevelt. And these are always been unanswered questions. So the government, for your own protection, can stay quiet for a certain amount of time before they come out like, okay, I know how to provide this to you. I got everything that I wanted from here. Now let's go.
Yeah.
But this has been going on for years. I remember watching a documentary called Anunnaki, and that was about, I think, 8 years ago, man. It's just like a 2D animation documentary somebody made, talking about alien races already living at layers of government facilities under the earth. But I mean, I understand. But if you accept the possibility that there was like a flying object that dropped in Roosevelt, that was about 100 years ago almost. No, not 100, but almost 100. And then these guys, they made contact with them. Haven't said anything since then. First, they prepared it. And until today, we are still being prepared. That's why people love movies like Star Wars and Star Trek. That's why Richard Branson has a hard on to reach the edge of the space and just ejaculate there and come down again.
Yeah, but even if you your point raises another very good question. I think in that you say you have to ask yourself, what is it end? So if you see it, you believe in it, and you confirmed, like, what is that level of belief? Do you believe they're already here? Do you believe they've been here before? Like, where? Or are you just like, I believe what I see, I see what I believe?
Look, if we accept us as the first living beings on this earth, I think we are completely mistaken by that. Like, dating back...
dinosaurs.
I mean, of course, that's what they want us to know, right? There were dinosaurs. What was there before that? Like, God created Earth in, 7 days?
No.
Wasn't it?
I don't know.
God created the universe, I think, in 7 days or something, or overnight.
Yeah, that
I'm not
rings a
sure,
bell.
but so you listen to that, then there are people who believe that. There are people who believe in the Big Bang, and then the Big Bang happened, and all this universe and all the pieces come together.
And sure.
So we still don't know even the source of where this come from, how we came to be here.
But that's my point. Is it affects everybody?
It does, but
There really isn't, and it goes beyond us too. It goes beyond to
this is for us.
The other living beings on this planet. It affects them too.
It is very new for us, but the religious people, they read about this. It's in the books. It's in the religious books that they are talking about there are other living beings in other dimensions of this planet. And this is not just some cuckoo shit. This is like right off the religious text.
Okay.
That the possibility of another living being in any shape or form is out there, but it's in a different dimension because we still don't understand the frequency and dimensions and stuff. Like this is what I'm talking about when we are talking about space.
I hear you.
If you apply the laws of this earth and your logic onto these things that are going to be presented to you eventually, things that jump from 0 to 1,000 kilometers per hour, you have to accept this kind of new ideas and look at things separately. Perception, my man.
So on perception or perspective. Perception,
perspective.
You say that you believe one thing, I believe another. We may very well believe different things when it comes to the topic of UFOs, but I think we can agree that the government knows more than it's telling us. We agree on a common interest in knowing that, right?
Because then it becomes our common enemy.
So if you were the government, if hypothetical, do you tell people? Or if you have such a tight grip on that information, if you can, like, it's in the palm of your hand, you can let go as much as you want of it, not just release a trickle.
Dude, they did.
Rather than everything.
They did. And
that's my point. So would you not do the same thing?
I mean, I would do the same thing, but the idea is this. You are shepherding the herd. You're controlling the herd. And you control for one thing or two thing or three thing, but you eventually end up controlling everything in their lives. And I believe this is not a trap anymore. And I keep saying this. I believe this life is kind of like a test of intelligence and your perception on things, right?
With the respect to UFOs, though.
No, coming back to UFOs, this is connecting.
With respect to UFOs. So, like, you believe that you would tell people at any point, if you're the government, you decide how much to release.
Let's not even say government.
Do you ever give them full disclosure, or do you just keep...
Say I'm the chief of the village, okay? I'm the chief of the village.
I was thinking...
And people let's go on a smaller base to make some possible scenarios, right?
Right.
Let's say we are a village of 10 people.
Okay.
20 people.
And you control the flow of information.
Yeah, I'm just like basically the chief that they look up to because maybe I know how to make a tent, how to start a fire. So they look up to in the dominance list, in the hierarchy, I'm on the top. So they would come to me for information, right? Because I'm the person who provides.
Yeah.
I provide them with water. I provide them with the intelligence to get something else, find resources, blah, blah. So they're coming to me. Then I have to think, am I smart enough to understand what the fuck is this? And I'm looking at it like, let's say I'm the chief village guy having a pee in the middle of the night, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., early morning. I'm in a little wee. Oh, yeah. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And there's a just elevating object just hovering around, and just like one guy just come out of it and look at me. And I'm like, oh, first of all, I think you freeze like a rabbit looking into the light. You're like, because your mind would be working 100% to analyze what the fuck is this?
And you can't.
So what you have to do is, same like how we do and learn. I don't know if you use this technique too. Like I read about something, I see some picture and I nonstop analyze it in my brain, even on my like sleep, chill time. On the corner of my brain, this thing is being analyzed. I just keep looking at it and try to find some logical, illogical, or a way of explaining whatever it is, unorthodox way. So he comes to an understanding, I come to an understanding. Okay. Then I have to decide what are the intervals of these visits. How many times I see this thing? Is it worth mentioning to my crew, to this gang? Because if looking at them, they're living a happy life, and you know each of them individually, oh, this gun gets spooked from darkness, this one gets spooked from water, blah, blah. And you're like, do I want to fuck around with their mental state? Yes or no? But in a bigger aspect, when you're talking about population, there is a chance that people go crazy and off the hook and just do some crazy things. That's why they analyze us so much. The idea is when a robot breaks, you have to destroy the robot. When a dog goes crazy, you have to shoot the dog, right?
Okay,
so
but then,
for the people, it would be like that too. Like, I want you to imagine, let's say somebody come out in any country, one of the prime ministers, and said, yes, we acknowledge the UFOs. We have been in direct contact with them. We have seen them. We have communicated with them. And it has been 20 years we have done that. And welcome. And then Mark Zuckerberg just drops and opens up and somebody comes up from inside. Hey, guys. Like, what the fuck is this? And then you're like, you want to find a body in your mind, right? No. And you're looking at like Men in Black, like looking at some movies that we see. That's how they give like a background picture to whatever's coming up. So you have an idea. When you say alien, it's not the gray alien. There can be different aliens with different body parts. So they already, I think, prepared us slowly. Like I remember watching X-Files when I was a kid and get spooked by some little alien coming from the edge of the bed.
So
and
good.
Until today, I still have this thing. You remember Mulder when he was a kid getting pulled out of the door to the light? Things like that. And I'm like, whoa, they are fucking scary as fuck. And then you keep looking into the sky. That was the years that we just literally look into the sky to find something like that. But coming to your point, I don't know. It's a very big question. I would not probably until I understand. That's why you have boards and institutions.
Okay, so you don't.
No.
So you're only one person. So yes, you control the flow of information to the other 9 or the other 10, however many ways.
Yeah.
But there are only 10 of you. So you may need them at some point and their
To
support.
make sense of it,
and I mean, somebody might be able to.
I mean, then you sell
But you
it.
might also need them to defend yourself.
Cory, it's all about narrative, my friend. It's all narrative. You control the narrative. You can even tell a murder story in a nice way. You can even tell a very horrific incident as an unfortunate event. This is how it's happening.